Thank you for tuning in to the Nola Experience podcast. Raw, honest, relatable conversations that help us grow. Be sure to follow us on all social platforms at the Nola Experience podcast and watch and listen to your favorite TNREP episodes on your favorite podcast platform.
On today's episode, we're going to be tapping into what happens when life gets lifing and things get a little bit challenging. How we react, what we do. Did you know? I have a question, the SOA Q&A, and of course, today's happy habit. You ever notice how you'll have this tiny little problem, but your body reacts like it's World War III? You are sweating, you're anxious, like you're running from a bear, but really it's not even that serious. And having those experiences have definitely forced me to learn how to talk myself off of a ledge. I have talked myself off of so many ledges over time, because there comes a time when, if you're looking for it and if you're exploring enough, you realize that we kind of do make problems bigger than they need to be. It just feels like something that we all do. It might be, why didn't you call me back? I don't want to talk to you anymore. Why did you take so long to respond to my text? Oh my gosh, you spilled something. There are so many things that happen that are so small, and we end up over exaggerating them in our heads. And we are the makers of our stress, and we don't even know it. And stress is something that I've had to deal with in so many different ways. Stress has affected my health. Stress has affected my relationship. Stress has affected how I maneuver the world. And it's not necessarily, oh, something is happening that's stressing me out. It's more, this thing is happening, I'm perceiving it this way, and this is how I'm reacting to it. So we really are the makers of most of our stress. And I have developed different tools on my own, and I've also learned tools in therapy. I've learned tools from listening to other people. And today I want to share 7 self-talk phrases that I will say to myself when things get really challenging and crazy. And hopefully there's somebody out there who can use them. All right, so the first one, I am still here. If life hasn't taken me out yet, I still got time. I know what it's like to feel like it's the end of the world. The issue, the problem, the thing that's happening, it feels like that's the biggest thing at that moment. And then there are times when it can feel like this is not going to end. How long is this going to be? It does feel like our problems might end up lasting forever. And I always tell myself, I'm alive, I'm standing, and I have time. This is a moment. This is a moment, and it's going to pass. I promise you, that has 100% of the time worked for me, because it reminds me that there are also good times. And when those good times come and I'm able to recognize them in the moment, I'll tell myself, this is a good time. This is a good moment. And this is a reminder that the hard times don't last. It's a reminder that I'm still standing and I'm still enjoying life, and being alive and still making it through the challenges and being able to make it through another day. That's definitely confirmation that you got this. It might feel icky. It might feel crazy. It might feel wild, chaotic, but you're still here and you have an opportunity, you have time. Whatever it is that you need to get done, you can get it done. And once I remind myself of that, I can calm down enough and remember something else. Number 2, stress isn't proof that I'm weak. It's proof that I'm human. Period. I know when things get crazy and I'm talking about myself, and I know that I am a reflection of many people out there. There have been times when I faced certain challenges and was so disappointed. I was so disappointed in how I handled it. My reaction wasn't graceful enough. I didn't recover from it quickly enough. I don't like the fact that I have to react like that. I don't like the fact that I have to feel that way. Why do I need to da 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 da? And while I'm beating myself up, the issue is still there. So now I have 2 major issues that I have to deal with. I am dealing with the fact that I have an elephant in the room. And then I'm dealing with the fact that I need to take all this time to beat myself up. And I found that when you beat yourself up, when you beat yourself down, you don't have the capacity and you don't have the energy and strength to fight your battles because you're already beating yourself down. So that's something that I have had to work to overcome and get over, that just because I'm stressed out doesn't mean I'm weak. It doesn't mean that I'm this inadequate person and I'm not handling life as well as other people. And listen, that's not something that necessarily came from me. It's definitely, being told you're too sensitive. You're this, you're that, you're that. And a lot of times when we hear people tell us those things, especially when they are our caregivers or people that we look up to, we, of course, obviously internalize those statements and they end up becoming our voices. And they end up turning into our self-talk. So listen, stress in many ways can just be a normal response to certain things that happen to humans. That's how we're wired. And then there are moments when you're the one stressing yourself out. Doesn't make you weak, but it does give you an opportunity to look at yourself and learn, what are the things that trigger me? What are the things that I need to tighten up on? Doesn't, like I said before, it does not make you weak, makes you human. And if my heart is racing, it's because I'm human. It's not because I'm broken. And that's something that I have to consistently remind myself of. And obviously, if you're listening, I'm sharing this with you as well. And this brings us to number 3. This is not my first meltdown. I've been here before, done that, and I already know that I'm going to get through this again. I've definitely said this 1,000 times in different ways. Another way that I phrased this was, you have beaten all of your challenges up until now. Why do you think you can't beat this one? You have beaten everything that's come for you in life. You've beaten them. That's why you're here. You got past them. You got over them. You got through them. And I have to use that as proof that I got this. Because again, there are moments when those problems can definitely feel like, girl, this might be it. this might be the thing that takes you over the edge, or this might be the thing that takes you out. And so far, it's never been true. It has not been true so far. Me sitting here having this conversation with you is proof of that. And even though I know that I've beaten so many challenges and I've gotten to this point. I also know that this means life, the world. I'm going to say the world. The world is going to continue to throw me chaos. And that brings us to number 4. Life can act a fool, but I'm still the one who decides how I clap back. And I'm not framing this in a way to say that we are at war with life. Life is not a war, right? But in our world and in our society and in our community, sometimes it can feel like you are at war with certain things. But I'm not encouraging you to look at life like it's a war. When I say clap back, I mean things can get crazy, as you know. Things can get very chaotic, and you have to decide if you're going to tap into the badass that's inside of you and knock this thing out, overcome this thing, be triumphant over these circumstances. And I have to say, honestly, there are times when you've fought so much and you've done so much that you might feel tired. You might feel defeated. Because, like I said before, the world is going to continue to bring you chaos. And there's going to be a moment when you're like, I heard Kendrick Lamar in a song ask God, how many more burdens left? And that hit so hard because he said it in a moment when I was asking the same questions, like, how many more lessons do I need? How many more issues do I need to go through? But the not so fun revelation in all of that is, I know somebody's going to not like hearing this. I didn't like hearing it, but it's a part of my self-talk as well. A lot of the times, the way things are hitting you, it's just because of the way you're choosing to respond to it. And being a badass and clapping back can look like, I'm not sweating that. I'm not letting that get to me. Or I'm just gonna have tunnel vision, focus on what I need to focus on, and not even entertain all the noise. It can look like that. Here's the thing. I'm not powerless. I get to pick my moves. That's really what the message is. And speaking of choosing, that brings us to number 5. I can switch the channel on my stress. Music, a walk, or even a petty laugh. Whatever it is that chills me out. You do have tools. You do have tools, but when you are so used to reacting a certain way or just generally being reactive, a lot of times we don't even realize that there are so many things that we can do instead of sitting in the issue and ruminating and sending out crazy text messages and beating ourselves up and eating a bunch of junk food or whatever it is that we do that ends up making the situation worse. There are so many options. The options actually are endless. And there are so many things that you can do. And I tell myself that I can do something else. I don't have to sit here and listen. It doesn't mean that I always take the healthier route, right? There are moments where I'm like, I'm just going to sit with this BS. I do that at times and sit there and go through it and just not even feel better after. But there are so many other times when I will tap into another option, and when I've done whatever that other option is, like for instance, go do something fun or go for a walk, whatever it is. I want to say about 99% of the time, I feel better after. And I always say to myself, I am so happy that I chose to switch that energy. So that's number 5. You have options. When life gets lifing and it starts kicking you down in whatever way, you can choose to not be reactive, and you can choose to actually take care of yourself and do something different. All right. And that brings us to number 6. I realized that my body swears it's the end of the world, but really it's just a tough email, hard conversation. No, seriously, my brain, my body can really be a drama queen. For real, for real. And I've had to recognize that sometimes I turn into the problem because I'm reactive. Yeah. I am now the problem because I chose to not pause, not take a deep breath, and respond right away. I think I have said this on this podcast before, but I'm going to share something. There was a time, this situation lives in my head, and I feel like it's going to live in my head forever because it was so impactful and life-changing. I got a text message, right? I read the text message and I was immediately hot. I was pissed. And then I decided, you know what? I'm not going to respond. I'm not going to respond. I'm going to put my phone down. I'm going to breathe. Give it a second. I walked away, came back a while later. Do you know that when I read that message again, the message didn't even say what I thought it said. I literally read the message incorrectly. It wasn't even the exact words that I thought it said. And I was like, wow, how many times does this happen where we misinterpret things, we swear we know what's going on, we misinterpret the situation, we react to it, and maybe ruin the situation, deeply impacted a relationship, or caused something to end that was beneficial to us. And we had no idea. To this day, we still don't know that the information that you were processing was incorrect. It was inaccurate. That wasn't even what it was. What you thought you were doing wasn't even what it truly was. Now that specifically speaks to misinterpretation, but sometimes we do chemically, emotionally misinterpret situations, and our bodies react, and we are super stressed. We're going through it, and that exaggeration is usually a sign that brings us to number 7. Okay. Number 7 is, if this thing is rattling me, it's hitting a nerve. The nerve probably connects to something I care about more than I want to admit. I mean, talk about realizations and awareness. You ever hear somebody say, I don't care what they say. I don't care about her. But they keep talking about it. They keep bringing it up. They keep talking about the situation. They keep bringing up the person, but they don't care. What happens in moments when you are feeling rattled and you're feeling riled up and triggered, you don't have to look at it like, oh my goodness, this horrible thing is happening to me. You can look at it like, this intense feeling is a message. What is it trying to tell me? These are all ways I talk to myself. What is this moment trying to tell me? Oh, I'm jealous. Oh, it's shining a light on what I think is inadequate in how I move through life. Oh, it's shining a light on my self-worth. Oh, I'm humiliated. Once you have the anger and the frustration, all those things come up, there are times when you have a good opportunity to just sit back and reflect and realize, what is this thing trying to tell me? Oh, I'm the problem. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Don't you love that? I mean, I love that. And let me tell you why I love that. I love that because it's an opportunity for me to not be that girl. It's an opportunity for me to pivot. I can say, all right, so this trigger is highlighting the fact that I don't feel that good about myself in such and such a situation. Why do I not feel good about myself? I'm amazing. I'm smart. I'm dope. What really is the problem? And you can go down that path and explore and learn yourself. And when you get to that answer, you're not going to respond the way you've been responding. Once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. Once you realize, oh my goodness, I don't feel so great about myself. My self-worth is being challenged here because of that. You now have an opportunity to pour into yourself and eradicate the way you've been looking at yourself. Yeah, so those triggers and those issues that come up, they are messages that you can use to empower yourself. And those are all things that I use for myself. And I hope you guys use them too, because who truly wants to keep going through life just having this internal war, this internal battle where you're so stressed out and you're going through so much and you're the cause of it? Don't you want joy? Don't you want bliss? Well, this is an invitation to that. We're talking about life challenges and the stress that we cause in ourselves. There's something that we need to talk about, and it's the addiction to struggling. And I'm not talking about these things because I'm like, hey, I've got life figured out. I'm on top of the world, and you need to figure this out. These are all also my experiences. These are things that I am going through. These are things that I've gone through. And it's truly an honor to be able to learn something and share those things with other people, because I truly believe that's the point of learning. That's the point of gathering information as we go. We pick them up and we give them to other people. We don't pick them up and keep them for ourselves, right? All right. The first thing in this addiction to struggling is, don't kill me, y'all, the ride or die concept. I understand what that means. I understand what ride or die means. But a lot of times we are so loyal to people that it just feels like at this point we are agreeing and volunteering for the pain. It's so catchy, and I think because it's been with me since I was a little girl, it felt like this is what we've always done. This is what we've always said. This is what you do when you really love people and you're really loyal and you really care. But truly, it sometimes feels like I'm riding for this person that's hurting me and this person that's chipping away at my soul. And I'm calling it riding, but you're also dying. And I don't want to agree to that anymore. That's not something that I want to subscribe to anymore. It's not something I want to be a part of anymore. And feeling free enough to reframe these things, it's really where I'm at. And inviting you to ride with me, right? The next thing is feeling like, how do I say this? Feeling like a relationship has to be chaotic to feel like it's passionate. And as I'm saying this, I'm wondering, have I gone through that? Is this something that I've done? I do believe so, because it's so ingrained in our behavior. Sometimes you behave in such a way you don't even know that you're doing it, because it's so ingrained in the fabric of your thoughts, the fabric of your movements. And I'm betting that at some point I probably started something because I was bored. I mean, it is what it is, right? And I think the most powerful part of that is being able to reflect and say, I don't want that for myself. And I definitely don't want that for anybody else. The need to feel pain, to feel something. Somebody's going to disagree with this. Listen, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. But I'm willing to bet that the concept of creating emotional, mental pain so you can feel something is not very different from people cutting themselves, physically cutting their bodies to feel something. And I think we might look at those people there. I've heard of this, people hurting themselves and harming themselves because they need to feel. I feel like conceptually those things might be the same. You constantly picking a fight and constantly trying to start something so you can feel something, it feels to me like you're cutting yourself emotionally and telling yourself, if it doesn't hurt, then it can't be real. Listen, no judgment, but it is giving toxic, up and down, through and through. I've been this girl, and if you've been listening, if you tuned in, you'll know that for a while I've been willing myself, walking myself in a graceful, loving way, out of the mindset of you have to keep grinding and grinding and grinding, because it's the way we glorify the grind, and the way the grind is literally grinding us. Like even the word grind, if you listen to the word grind, it's like, what are we doing? And don't get me wrong, I have been an entrepreneur for a very long time, over a decade. I know what it takes to start a business. I know what it takes to run it, grow it, recruit people, team up with people and have to be so on top of things because I'm the one in charge of manifesting and generating the next dollar. I'm highly aware that it takes a lot. There's so much grit involved in it, right? But there are also other ways of doing it. And we don't need to glorify the way that we're constantly killing ourselves. It's perfectly fine to say, listen, this is a lot. I am really going through it. I need support. And it's so interesting though, because you're going to run into somebody, you're going to run into people who will tell you, you're complaining. What are you doing? You're weak. And you're going to run into people who praise you and big you up, and they talk so nicely about the fact that you're struggling and you're constantly doing and doing and doing. I've had that experience. Oh my gosh, I'm not sleeping. Girl, really? Wow. I'm not sleeping, and we're clapping. And those same people might be the people who tell you that you're lazy or something is wrong with you if you say, I need to sleep. This is wearing me out. All right. Sometimes peace. Oh my goodness. This one, it goes right back to feeling the need to start something to feel something. Sometimes peace can feel so uncomfortable to some people. It's too quiet. Nothing is happening. Nobody's fighting today. When you're so used to drama, you constantly need that to keep happening because you're familiar. It's a familiar feeling. And I know for sure that when the brain is familiar, it will go with the thing that hurts you and run away from the thing that keeps you safe, just because that's what it's used to. I can go on and on and on and talk about all of the toxic ways of being that I've moved through in life, and some of them that I'm still doing today. But at the end of the day, somebody has to hear this and somebody has to repeat this. And I hope that you will share this podcast with somebody, share these words with somebody, because really and truly, I feel like we're struggling. And to be honest with you, there are times when I will see somebody who look like they're doing well. I feel like once you've been in it for so long and you're so used to it and you know what certain things look like, you can see through the BS. You can see through when it's a facade, right? And there's so many people out here who are putting up this front like, yeah, I'm good, but struggling. And we're pushing them to do it because not only are they addicted to struggling, we're also addicted to watching people struggle, and we're addicted to praising struggle. And it's like a vicious cycle. And I'm pleading with you now to figure out a way to get in front of that and stop it. We were not meant to come here and struggle. We were not meant to feel life exclusively through pain. We're meant to feel all the things, but we can choose to be joyful. We can choose to experience bliss. And not stray away from the fact that the struggling can teach us things. There are so many lessons in this. I know for a fact that I've learned a lot of lessons in this. I've had to go through the grind life. I've had to go through the mindset of needing to do it all needing to do everything myself. I've had to go through punishing myself because I didn't feel like I was doing enough, and starting drama because the moment felt boring, or gravitating towards people who had the drama because my situation felt boring in that moment. And I am choosing to not continue to abuse myself through this life and use these experiences to grow. I don't know how long I have left, but whatever amount of time I have left, I don't want to use that time to keep abusing myself. I want to use that time to grow and be confident, and at the end of all of this, truly feel like, yeah, I have lived, I've learned so much, and wherever I'm going, I hope that I can continue to offer everything that I've learned to people, if that's what happens in the next realm. And there are people left here who were impacted by my growth. So since we're talking about pain, we have to talk about turning the other cheek. Listen, turning the other cheek in some moments can be a myth. For me, if you don't agree, that's cool. But I'm inviting you to have an open perspective, right? There are times when forgiveness can be your strength, and there are times when forgiveness can open you up to more disrespect. The difference is what you do after you forgive. You can forgive and say, you know what? I see you for who and what you are. I realize that you do not understand the bigger picture of what you are putting into motion and how it's going to affect the world. And because I see you, I can say, you know what? I forgive you. It doesn't mean it's okay. It doesn't mean that we're giving this person a pass. But it 100% means that we are not walking around with resentment, and we're not walking around with this hateful energy that is living inside of us. It's not even the other person who's experiencing this. You're the one walking around with it. However, you don't have to rock with that person. Forgiveness does not mean that now we're cool again and now you are back in the position where you can do that, whatever it was that you did in the past. You don't get to hurt me again. You don't get to get this close to me ever again and have access to my vulnerability. You don't get that. There are people who will weaponize your forgiveness. They will use it as a weapon. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. I know for a fact there's somebody listening who has forgiven that one person over and over and over and over. And what do? What have they been doing? They keep doing the same thing. They keep doing the same thing because they expect you to forgive them. Some people, you forgive them, they're remorseful, they pivot, and they never do that thing again, whatever it was. And there are some people who use it as a weapon and they turn around and they keep hurting you. I'm talking about those people. I don't want you to keep letting things slide because you want to be the bigger person when the person you're forgiving takes your forgiveness and stabs you in the back with it. We're not doing that anymore. I can forgive you, but because of your non-change in behavior, I can't allow you into this space where you can hurt me again. That's not happening. And this, of course, goes to family, friends, lovers, co-workers. There's so many people that this can relate to, but I know for sure that the family and the lovers are the main people. And I'm thinking about my own situations. I'm thinking about my own experiences, right? There are a select few people who I can count on one hand that, and they all know it. I have forgiven you so many times. But you still insist. But what's happening in this conversation is we're making a pact. We're making a decision together. We really have to say, listen, I don't want to use the rest of my days mourning what I can't have and fighting and being in distress and slowly speeding up my path to dying, because that's what stress does. That's stopping today. So if we're talking about at work and business, like I said, family and lovers, they can get to your softest spot. And I do suspect that at work and in business, it might feel like that's an area or a world where it's easier to kind of let people go or cut them off or whatever it is that we typically like to do. But sometimes it can show up as not just coworkers or partners. It might show up as customers. It might show up as clients. There are some people who, have you ever heard the term, all money ain't good money? Yeah. There are some people who you're like, listen, I'm good. I'm going to let the sale go. We don't even have to do this transaction because I'm going to take your money, and that's great for business. But what comes with having this business relationship or transactional relationship with you, it's too expensive for my peace. You're robbing me of my peace, and we're not going to keep doing that. So there's so many worlds where these things can happen. And what I will say is, when you forgive and you don't create boundaries, you're technically not healing, right? And what's coming up for me right now is I'm feeling like if you forgive people without creating boundaries, would you consider that people pleasing? It's like, I think there's a part of that that's people pleasing. It's like, I'm forgiving you so that this tension and this issue can stop looming over us. And I just want to get back to feeling better already. I just want to hurry up and get rid of this. So, and I'm saying this because I have done this. The pain and the anguish is just so much that you're like, all right, let's just let it go so we can get back to feeling comfortable and we're okay. And then here comes the BS again. Definitely been that girl. Been that girl very much recently. And when you are forgiving without boundaries, what you're actually doing is betraying yourself. I think self-betrayal hurts more than most things. The things that you know you are doing are the things that end up hurting the most. And that's partially why I just want to make sure that I'm taking care of myself, because when I sit down with my thoughts and I realize, girl, you're the one who's hurting you. That part That part is what I try to avoid. I really try to avoid having to go to war with myself, because I'm not somebody to play with myself. Me and myself, and you know what I'm talking about, because nobody hurts you more than you hurt yourself. Nobody talks to you crazier than you talk to yourself. So when you realize, oh my gosh, I've forgiven them again, I did not create enough boundaries, so now I feel like I'm the one disrespecting myself. It's not even them anymore at this point. It's you. You've forgiven that person 1 time, 2 times, whatever, and they keep doing it. It's no longer them. It's you. You're making the choice. So listen, forgiveness is powerful. It is transformative. But I want you to know that your strength comes from being able to forgive and being able to walk away at the same damn time. Yeah. All right. Did you know? This is something that I've known for a while, and I've shared it with multiple people, but I feel like nobody listens to me. All right. Did you know that your brain reacts to stress the same way it would if you were being chased by a wild animal? Literally, your body cannot tell the difference between a messy email from your boss and running from a bear. 100% factual. Your brain cannot tell the difference between stress that you're creating and stress that's happening on the outside. Did you know? So we have gotten to the point where I'm going to be asking the audience a question. I would love to hear your answers. So please email me at talkwithnola@gmail. That's talkwithnola@gmail.com. talkwithnola@gmail.com. What is the hardest thing you've had to unlearn? The hardest thing you've had to unlearn, and how did you grow from it? All right, so it's time to jump into the SOA Q&A, where my producer, Shot of Adrenaline, asks me questions that I have to answer. Are you ready? Let's go. What is a cultural shift happening right now that I don't think people are paying enough attention to? First of all, I have to say that no matter where we are, what's happening, we will always not have enough people paying attention. That's just the nature of our culture, especially when you have so many people packed into one society. And I'm going to have to go with AI. Not necessarily that people are not paying attention, but people are not educated enough, and people don't understand how impactful it is and how it's ingrained in everything already. I recently heard someone say, I'm not dealing with AI. I don't want anything to do with AI. And I was like, if you're posting on Facebook and Facebook is suggesting tags on faces, you're using AI. If you are using Siri on your iPhone, which I know that person does, you're using AI. But it just says to me that they don't understand what AI is. And it's about to be like the internet. It's about to be something that's everywhere all the time. And we do have to get on top of that. If my life was a cocktail, what would be in it and what would it be called? I'm going to go with a cocktail that's already made. I'm going to go with a jalapeno margarita because obvious reasons. It's delicious, it's spicy, and tequila happens to be one of the most healthiest spirits that you can drink. So I'm going to go with a jalapeno margarita. What's a guilty pleasure I refuse to feel guilty about? binge watching shows. Especially, I do have my moments where I will go a little bit dark with it. For the most part, I try to stay away from the shows that are dark because I feel things so deeply. But I'm going to have to go with binge watching. I remember binge watching Ozark when I wasn't even feeling well, and I was conscious of it in real time. This is not the best thing to be doing right now, but this show is so good. So definitely that. Okay, so today's happy habit. I love this part because we tend to walk around life feeling like things have to be so big and so grand and magnificent for them to count as moments of happiness, when really we walk through life and overlook the seemingly small things and really miss an opportunity to realize that we are experiencing joy in so many moments. And I think if you walk through life long enough thinking that not enough amazing and happy things are happening for you, you will have gone through life, or you will go through life fooling yourself into thinking that life sucks and you haven't had joy. Today's happy habit isn't something that, I'm not going to talk about something that I do. I'm going to make a suggestion. Before you go to bed, instead of doom scrolling on social media, take a moment to just make a note. It could be in a notepad in your phone, or it can be on an actual notebook, and write down things about yourself that you're proud of. Write down, I have a long list of things that I'm proud of, but I'm encouraging you to start compiling that list. And I can tell you right now, I started doing that with my son, right? When something happened in real time and he was aware of it and I could see that he was happy with the outcome, I have this list in a notepad that we're both connected to, and I'll tell him, put that in a notepad, put that in a notepad. So recently he made a statement that I turned, my head spun like The Exorcist. I was like, he was like, I'm not good at anything. And I was like, you know what? Instead of me talking, and in this moment, what I say ends up falling on deaf ears because you're all in your feelings, whip out the list. Whip out the list. And he started going down the list, and he was smiling, not necessarily because he was happy to see that, oh, I do have things that I'm good at, because it made him realize, oh yeah, I was not making any sense. So definitely do that. Start compiling a list of things that you're proud of. And when you're not so proud of yourself, you can go back to it later and prove yourself wrong. And that brings us to a close. And as usual, I am so grateful that you all are here with me, and I am able to share with you the things that I'm learning moving through life. And my prayer is that I have an impact on somebody, and I can help you switch your perspective and help you see all of these experiences that are helping you grow. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Nola Rowe Experience Podcast. Created and hosted by Nola Rowe. Produced by Take Action Media. Theme song by Mr. Melee. Sponsored by The Hills Restaurant, Brooklyn, New York. Listen to us on all podcast platforms and follow us on social media at the Nola Rowe Experience Podcast. Visit the NolaRoweExperiencePodcast.com and connect with us via email at talkwithnola@gmail.com.